Hey everybody, welcome to the Augmented Reality Podcast, brought to you by the Triple S League. My name is Divinity, and I'm here as always with Cybsidian.
Hello.
Wow, it's been quite a month, I must say. We've had a bunch of different awesome things going on. We had, the past 2 weeks, our podcast has been our interview we did with the Mad Queen. Just getting back into the swing of things. And that voice you just heard was none other than XTC, here to give his quick-witted and smart-assed comments.
Hi!
Or was that dumb-assed comments? I'm not sure. Some sort of assed comments.
My toe itches!
So, quite a number of things to talk about this week. First, in some tech news, Twitter is considering raising its character limit from 140 characters to 280.
Whoa!
I know, right? That's a lot of garbage someone can spew in a single tweet.
And the trolls cheered in the streets.
Yeah, they did. They're considering this to try and remove some of the difficulties in squeezing your deepest and most profound thoughts into a tweet. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey commented that he was proud of how thoughtful the team has been in solving a real problem that people have when trying to tweet. And we, here at the Triple S League, would also like to express our congratulations to the hard-working Silicon Valley engineers who came up with the same solution that a 5-year-old could have come up with in 2 minutes. In other news...
I heard my niece ask the question. She's like, why are you trying to figure out how to make it shorter? Why don't you just make it longer? I'm like, yeah, that's a brilliant assessment of the situation.
Well, you know how that meeting went, though, right? It was like, okay, guys, how do we solve the character limit problem? I don't know, double it? Okay, lunch?
Oh, that's totally what happened, too.
Yeah. In other Twitter news, the account of Ted Cruz liked a picture that prominently featured Mario's nipples, an incident which the U.S. Senator swears was a prank. When asked who was behind the like, the prankster leapt up and shouted, "It's a me, a Rubio."
That is so bad. Oh, wow. You're going to get us fired.
I've already been fired. I'm not supposed to be here. So, lots of stuff to talk about today. So
a couple of days ago, when this story came out, at first I was like, "You're kidding, right? Like, this is a big joke." Like, I could barely believe it.
It's amazing how often I think that when I read the news these days. But anyway, continue.
So, apparently, PlayerUnknown Battleground is the first MOSA to ever exist. It's the first battle royale game that has ever existed. Okay, no, they walked this one back considerably. Looking back on it a couple days later, they've clearly walked this back.
That was the news report that PUBG was an original concept.
The way they worded it made it sound as if they were saying this, but what they were meaning to say was it was the first one done with the Unreal 4 engine, and that they had worked quite closely with the people at Unreal, and therefore they felt it was dishonest of them to come out with their own version of the gameplay mode for some reason or another. I can kind of sort of understand this a little bit from their angle. They were working with a game engine that has a studio that makes their own games. They had gone back and forth with lots of tools and ideas and concepts. But in this instance, it's kind of like the pot calling another pot.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not saying that one game doesn't look a lot like another game, but hello. Yeah, they ripped off directly other people.
It's like you guys aren't even the first people to come out with this concept this year. And last year there was like H1Z1 and Arc, and
that's the big one.
The Calling, and we've seen this come and go a couple of times in the gaming industry, but it's also been in movies. And there were several movies just in the past couple of decades. There was one really popular series. I'm trying to think of the name. Was it Hungry Games? Was it something like that? Hunger Games. Yes, Hunger Games. Yeah. There's a whole series about this, for crying out loud. Bluehole needs to definitely say that PUBG is definitely a great game, and that they were smart to take advantage of it, but they've gone after Epic in a format that in the first draft made it look like they were laying claim that they own the concept, which you can't own concepts to gameplay.
Right. And the fact that these games are so common over the last 2-3 years, indie developers are making them. They stay in like alpha, beta for a long time if they ever get made at all. But that's like trying to say your character wears a hat, my character wore a hat, give me money. It just doesn't work. It's too common a thing right now.
Yeah, plus the fact that they've only essentially duplicated what's been in a lot of other games of the same type and what's been in some movies and stuff like that. So anyways, moving on. You know what game I cannot put down right now?
Tetris!
Divinity Original Sin 2. Oh my goodness, that game is amazing and big and long, and there's...
Are we still talking about the game?
Yes. It's an amazing game. Really takes me back to like Neverwinter Nights kind of feel, and going all the way back to like Baldur's Gate style and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. The characters are really interesting, and it's been tearing it up in the Steam charts too. There's been a lot of people playing this game. It's sold very, very well. I don't think that they were expecting to have this big of a hit on their hands, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That is a very good problem to have. So we will probably see more in this, definitely more in this genre. But we might even see a DOS 3, because this is just absolutely smashed their expectations out of the park. So yeah, I'm really glad for them, and I'm really happy to see this kind of game come back. There is one thing with it, but it's with a lot of games. Like obviously this is not exclusive to this one game. Is the AI when it comes to like some of the smaller story aspects of the game. It's like, so I rescue one NPC from a terrible fate, and they're like, oh, I wish I could go back, and I'm, back to my family. And I'm like, go through that door, take a left, and there they are.
Yeah.
Just go. Just
You're
just
welcome.
Walk out the door. They're to the left, right there. I come back like 6 hours later of real time. The next day I come back and I walk back into this dungeon, and the NPC is still in there going, I really wish I could go back to my family. And I'm like, there's one door. There's just one keeping you from your family. Go. But this is
the pick up and throw button.
Yeah, this is the limitations of the current AI technology that we have. Is we don't have the ability to like really, 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 really improve this. So unfortunately, it's kind of where we're stuck for the moment. But it's like it just gives me some funny moments, and then there's some genuinely brilliant moments in this game. Like in this one instance, I got my hands a little bit of a spoiler alert for the first act, just the first act. I found a rubber squeaky ball. And I was like, rubber squeaky ball.
Whee!
What am I supposed to do with a rubber squeaky ball? And then I walked into a room full of vicious guard dogs with crossbows mounted on their backs. And I walked in, and I have a trait that you talk with animals, which is the best trait ever. Definitely take it if you're playing this game. Definitely take Pet Pal at the beginning. Walk in and start talking with these animals. One of the options is like when they're starting to get violent, you reach into your bag, pull out a little squeaky ball, give it a squeak, and all of the dogs go from like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to eat you, I'm going to tear your flesh out from your bones, to all of a sudden they're all like,
Yay!
ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, ball. And you throw it in, then you can talk with them afterwards, and they're all saying ball. It's really funny. It's really cute. It's absolutely hilarious. And then you run into like the occasional talking animal or critter that has a really interesting backstory. Like they walk up and talk to this one crab, and it's like, I am the indomitable ruler of the world. And you're like, oh, really? Are you now? And it's like, yes, you will fear me. And I'm like, interesting. I didn't try it, but apparently if you attack it, it kills you in one shot.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's a funny little gag thing that they threw in there. Apparently it is literally the ruler of the world. It just doesn't care about humans. So
Whenever I think of funny AI stories in games, I think back to when I was playing Oblivion, and you know those couriers that would come up to you and give you letters, or occasionally.
I know the one in
Yes,
Skyrim
yeah.
very well. I can often guess exactly what he's going to say to me as soon as he walks up.
Well, I was in one of these points in Oblivion where one of the Oblivion portals is open and there's just hordes of enemies pouring out, and you've assembled all kinds of troops to fight them. So there's just this massive battle happening, and it was like freaking awesome. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced in a game before. I was like, man, I've dreamed of the day where we could do this in games, like just be one soldier in this massive battle. And then I look, and walking across the field,
Is this a courier?
Lo and behold.
in between all these groups of viciously battling enemies and these soldiers battling these demon creatures, this Argonian is walking across the battlefield straight toward me, and he comes up to me, and I'm like literally engaged in a fight with somebody, and it interrupts for a dialogue sequence. I've got this letter for you.
I had that happen in Skyrim. Spoiler alert for a decade-old game. I had this experience in Skyrim
It's not
where
a decade
I'm
old.
sieging Whiterun, right? I'm sieging Whiterun. Okay, almost a decade. And
That's like saying, almost 10 inches. Anyway, go ahead.
Whoa.
anyways, I run over and one of the catapults fires off and like it comes down. You watch it hit the house and just destroys the house. And I'm like, oh, certainly hope there was nobody in there. Anyways, I start moving, and about 15 seconds later, courier comes running up, and of course I'm using like the time dilation ability. So like he interrupts me like whipping around the battlefield like Flash, and he interrupts me. He's like, I have this note for you from the Jarl. And I'm like, okay, this has got to be legendarily important. So I open it up. And it's the will of the guy in the house that just got destroyed. He left me 100 gold.
That was quick.
Like, wow, first of all, that was amazingly fast. Like, my goodness.
You
that
should
was
work for
super
Panago or something. Damn.
Dude, brilliant. Also, I kind of caused his death. So, I don't know if I should be getting anything at that point. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, good times.
So EA has been pulling out all the stops recently to show us that Battlefront 2 actually has content as compared to Battlefront 1.
The best thing about this story, the absolute best thing about this, is that they are admitting, essentially, right now they're playing it up, like, look how much content number 2 has. Oh my goodness, number 2 has got so much content. It's got a single-player story mode. It's got an offline mode that you could play with a friend in split screen, which, by the way, I enjoy that. That I don't know why that ever went away, but anyways, whatever.
The subtext is like, we ripped you off the first time, so come on back.
Exactly. You nailed it on the head. They're admitting that their first game in this series was total garbage, and that they essentially ripped everybody off and came up with a DLC that cost so much money, and they're just sitting back on,
To be fair, it's Star Wars, so it's not like they had a lot of lore to go on or anything. It's like pretty limited stuff there.
There's like no characters in the series they could draw from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm floored. I was disgusted with the first game. I think EA has done a terrible job with the Star Wars license up to this point. So yeah, hopefully this game is actually gonna have some legs for a while. The first game was fun, but you know what it felt like? Every time I played it, it felt like a very early version of a beta. Like, so little content, non-existent progression. There was like, oh, hey, change the hair color on your character. Oh, sorry, no, we didn't add that. It's just to change the face and the hair thing, which there were like 3 things of. It was honestly, it was cheap too. It was so cheap. I was really disappointed with that. I hope that this game gives the fans what they should have gotten the first time, But I would also say that if you own the previous one, you should knock off at least like $10 because I'm not, as it is, I'm not going to get that game when it comes out. It just, I burned a little bit too much on the first go around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. There's going to be a lot of skeptics going into it just because of the past.
And that's happening a lot in the industry.
Yeah, even Bethesda recently has kind of annoyed me with what they did with Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. I was actually
Really?
I really enjoyed the game, but for the price, releasing it as a standalone expansion for 2/3 the price of Dishonored 2, when really it felt like a DLC that should have cost half as much.
I was shocked to see you guys put up the last video for it, like, within, a week of the first one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, are you done already? And then checked out the price, I was like, no! Oh, yep, you are done! Okay!
Yeah, and to give you a rough idea, so there's 5 missions in the game. 2 of them take place on the same map area. They just change it from day to night. It's a very big level, it's a very big area, and the quests are sort of very involved, but I was kind of like, well, really? Like, you couldn't have at least given us 5 original maps to play, and then the first mission of the 5 is incredibly short, so I was really glad upon completing that one to find out that the other ones were much longer. It was really, really good in a lot of ways. It really fleshed out the lore. It really built on the story very well, but it was overpriced. And especially considering when it came down to the ending, there were just 2 endings that were based on a single decision you make.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yikes.
It's basically just you choose to kill the outsider, or I won't give a spoiler on what the other ending is, but then and I discussed it in my video on the endings. There was just an obvious third ending, that a third choice that could have been there, that could have been so deliciously juicy, that they just left out. So, and actually there's probably even a couple more. So compared to Dishonored 2, which had many different endings and many different iterations of the different endings depending on choices you made in the game, like, you could make individual choices throughout the game that affected the ending.
This one really left you wanting more.
Yeah, so I wasn't satisfied with that. Again, like, I really did enjoy it, and I'm still going through making guides and things like that, and I'm enjoying the gameplay a lot. I enjoy the characters. I'm okay with it even being as short as it was, but it should have cost about half as much as what I paid for it, I think.
And that's too bad.
Plus, it included Denuvo. Like,
see, I would not have even got the game if I knew that. Don't you dare put Denuvo on Fallout or Skyrim. You do that, Bethesda, we will have words. We will have strong words. You did nothing compared to paid mods. Absolutely nothing.
But it's frustrating because this seems to be a new thing they're doing. It was on Prey as well, and they stick it on these games for the first few months of their release.
Surprise! You can't remove it from your computer.
Then it gets removed in quotes later on.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm positive that happens.
It's just in there getting your credit card information. That's what it's doing.
Well, doing research on it, it's nearly impossible to know whether or not you're getting correct information on it, because there's so much speculation and rumors about it.
Yeah.
I was doing some searching once I realized that my computer had been infected. Installed. Well, okay, what bugs me about it,
ladies and gentlemen?
There were some people saying, oh, it's like the worst thing that has ever happened to your computer, and then there were other people saying, like, oh, the harm of it is being overblown, etc. You don't know who to believe. But what bugs me is that the only indication you get that this third-party software is going on your computer is this tiny little notice on the Steam page that you have to scroll down to see. Now, it probably fulfills the legal requirements to notify you that this third-party software is being installed on your computer. But I find it tasteless on behalf of the game publisher to do the bare minimum in terms of letting you know what's actually being installed on your computer. I did a page search, like an in-page search for Denuvo on the Steam page for Death of the Outsider, and the only place that the word showed up was in this tiny little notice in the sidebar.
Okay.
That's not cool. So yeah, well, anyways, in October for games, we got quite a few things coming out.
Yeah.
We've got Forza Motorsport 7, which absolutely no one cares about. Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a lot of people excited for that one.
Yes.
The Evil Within 2, which strangely
kind
enough
of excited.
It's only two weeks before Wolfenstein comes out, so this is a pretty packed month. Then we got Gran Turismo. Again, nobody cares. South Park: The Fractured But Whole. October 17th. Amazing. Totally looking forward to that. They released a bit of a short this week. Hilarious. Go check it out. Destiny 2 for the PC. Yes, I hear
the rest of you can finally play.
I hear it comes with awesome benefits being on the PC version, so that's good. Assassin's Creed Origins is coming out on the 27th. I believe.
Kind of excited for that one.
That one looks really good, yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein. Yeah. So, packed month for top end stuff. So, I will probably still not be anywhere close to getting through Act 2 of DOS 2. So, I am not going to have a free moment for the rest of the year, apparently.
I will be playing the crap out of Wolfenstein when it comes out.
Anybody excited for the Evil Dead 2? Or, sorry, the Evil Within 2? Did you guys play the first one?
I've actually been watching the TV series The Evil Within.
The Evil Dead.
The second season. Evil Dead.
Different.
Evil
Yeah. Very
different. Little bit different. Little bit different.
I never have played that one.
I'm actually, if anyone's interested, I'm kind of playing through that one here and there on my channel. You can go check it out on Twitch.
Twitch.tv/x_2_continue. That's TO, not the number 2.
Feel free to make fun of me. I'm a terrible shot, and they only give you so many bullets, so there'll be a lot of death scenes, and they're pretty gory.
Yeah.
Be warned.
So, yeah, check that out to go laugh at XTC, and also strongly recommend you check out our last 2 podcast episodes if you haven't. Our past 2 episodes is a 2-part discussion we had with the Mad Queen, and also we were on a live stream with her this past week on her channel that she's released the first part of that on her channel, so check her out, Mad Queen Show on YouTube.
That was awesome. A lot of fun to do. It's
What were you guys playing?
We weren't
playing anything.
It was a discussion about Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, okay.
Mad Queen, though, she basically eats, sleeps, and breathes that game, Cyberpunk 2077. So check out her channel for lots of great info on that. And again, part 1 is up, and there'll be more parts coming of the discussion we did with her on live stream with lots of chat, lots of people in chat asking questions and giving feedback and stuff. It was a really good time. Yeah, so definitely check that out. I'll put a link to it in the description to make it easy on all y'alls, so you don't have to type.
There you go.
And I'll put a link to XTC's Twitch channel.
Thank you, sir.
And, a link to our Patreon page. But, I mean, you guys don't want to check that out. No, you don't want to go to our Patreon. All right, well, that's it for this episode of the Augmented Reality Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a production of the Triple S League. Thank you to XTC for joining us. On behalf of Cypsidian, my name is Asheninity, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye, everybody!
And a Chimen Tolo to you all.
Thanks for listening to Augmented Reality, presented by the Triple S League. If you appreciate this weekly content, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Patrons get exclusive access to podcast outtake videos, downloadable music, and RSS feed of our podcast, and more. See patreon.com/the Triple S League for details. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.